He has shocked the world with his theories and ideas. He is known as the father of psychoanalysis. But what many people don't know is that he also had a dark warning about marriage. Keep watching to find out what it was, and how it still applies to this day. His theories and ideas changed the world and paved the way for modern psychology. But despite his many contributions to the field, he is probably best known for his views on sex. We all have relationships with our parents that shape us in big and small ways. So it is not surprising that these relationships would continue to influence us, even after we've grown up and moved out of our childhood homes. However, this doesn't mean that marriage is doomed to fail. According to Freud, successful marriages are possible, but they require a great deal of effort and understanding from both partners. He believed that couples who are able to overcome their childhood issues and create a healthy, loving relationship are truly fortunate. Well, in his book, Civilization and Its Discontents, he warned that marriage is one of the most difficult institutions in society and that most people enter into it with unrealistic expectations. According to Freud, one of the biggest problems with marriage is that it requires a high degree of This is because each spouse has to give up certain things in order to make the relationship work. According to him, it is important to understand the challenges that come with marriage and to be prepared to face them head. Only then can a couple hope to have a successful, fulfilling relationship. Her name was Dora, and she was the daughter of one of his close friends. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to hit that like button. We'll see you next time. The two of them had a passionate love affair that lasted for several years, but it was never publicly acknowledged. This was because Freud was already married, and it would have been scandalous to reveal his affair. Despite keeping their relationship a secret, Dora eventually became pregnant, and Freud helped her get an abortion. He continued to see her in secret for several more years, but eventually their affair came to an end. It's unclear what happened between the two of them, but it's possible that Freud was simply too afraid of scandal to acknowledge their relationship publicly. In the end, Dora married someone else, and Freud went back to his wife. For example, they may have to give up their freedom, independence, or even their own needs and desires in order to prioritize the relationship. He was one of the first people to seriously study the psychology of marriage and to explore the unconscious motivations that drive people to get married. His insights have helped millions of people better understand themselves and their relationships. However, it's also important to remember that times have changed since Freud was alive. Our understanding of psychology has advanced significantly, and many of his ideas are now outdated. For example, Freud's views on sexuality were extremely controversial, and many of his ideas about the nature of desire have been disproven. Nevertheless, his work remains an important part of the history of psychology, and his ideas about marriage are still relevant today. This can be especially difficult for people who are not naturally very self-restrained, such as those with certain personality disorders. Freud believed that all human behavior is motivated by sexual desire, and that our childhood experiences have a major impact on our adult lives. Just because two people are married does not mean that they will automatically have a happy, fulfilling relationship. In fact, it quite often requires a lot of work from both partners in order to keep the relationship strong and healthy. This can be especially challenging for couples who already have a lot on their plates, such as those with demanding careers or families of their own. He believed that while sex is an important part of any relationship, it should not be the only focus. This can be especially true if the relationship is not a good one. Marriage can trap people into a bad relationship and make it difficult to move on. In fact, Freud believed that one of the reasons why divorce rates are so high is because marriage often fails to live up to expectations. People enter into marriage with certain expectations about what it will be like. However, when the reality of the situation doesn't match up to these expectations, it can be a source of great unhappiness. This is especially true in cases where there is a lot of deception involved. For example, if one or both partners misrepresent themselves in order to get married, it can lead to a lot of hurt and resentment down the road. He believed that the rewards of a successful marriage far outweigh the hard work required to make it work. For those who are lucky enough to find a partner with whom they can create a deep, loving bond, the result can be truly special. He was married for 40 years and had 6 children. And although his marriage wasn't exactly a happy one, he still had a great deal of respect for his wife. In fact, he once said that she was the only person he had ever met who could have been the mother of his children. Clearly, his relationship with his wife was complicated, but it is safe to say that it had a major impact on his thinking about marriage in general. According to him, focusing solely on sex can lead to a breakdown in the relationship, because it ignores the other important aspects of a partnership. Now let's get back to the topic at hand. In order for a marriage to be successful, both parties need to be willing to put in the effort to nurture all aspects of their relationship. He also developed the theory of psychosexual stages, which posits that children go through different stages of sexual development as they grow up. If a child is fixated at any of these stages, it can lead to psychological problems in adulthood. Before we start, make sure to hit that like button for more videos. One of the most interesting aspects of Freud's work is his thoughts on marriage. In his book, The Future of an Illusion, Freud argued that marriage is nothing but a more highly developed form of the ancient mother-child bond. According to Freud, when a young man chooses a wife, he is really choosing a mother figure to take care of him and meet his emotional needs. This is because, according to Freud, the Oedipus complex that every boy experiences during the phallic stage of development causes them to unconsciously desire their mother and view their father as a rival for her affection. As a result, Freud argued that the choice of a partner in marriage is often influenced by unconscious desires and conflicts from childhood. Also, stick around until the end, because there is a crazy bonus fact that no one knew about Freud that we will share at the end of the video. You won't want to miss it. We all know that Sigmund Freud was one of the most controversial figures in history. Despite the controversy surrounding his work, there is no denying that Freud was a brilliant thinker who had a profound impact on our understanding of the human mind. This may sound shocking, but it makes sense if you think about it. Freud also had some interesting thoughts on the role of sex in marriage. However, despite these challenges, Freud still had a positive outlook on marriage. But before we continue, make sure to hit that like button for more videos. It is also worth noting that Freud's views on marriage were heavily influenced by his own personal experiences. So, what exactly was Freud's dark warning about marriage? Another problem, according to Freud, is that marriage requires a great deal of effort and commitment. In addition, Freud believed that marriage can sometimes be a source of great unhappiness. Despite these potential drawbacks, Freud still believed that marriage was worth striving for. However, he cautioned his readers to go into it with their eyes open. Let's not forget to mention that Freud's ideas were groundbreaking for their time. Now for the crazy bonus fact we promised. Did you know that Freud actually had a secret second wife? Thank you for watching.